From the Millennium Dome, where we're celebrating the pairs final.
Bienvenidas y bienvenidos a la final en la categoría de parejas. Estábamos comentando ya un reto de 1000 piezas, un tiempo total de 2 horas. Buscamos a la pareja más rápida del mundo.
So between you and Glory, one unpublished Ravensburger 1,000-piece puzzle, and the fastest pair to complete it will be crowned World Champions 2025.
Hemos tenido visitas a lo largo de todos estos días, pero queremos llamar a alguien al escenario para escuchar también las palabras. Decimos que este viaje, maravilloso viaje, no sería posible sin nuestro partner más importante, que es Ravensburger, y tenemos a alguien muy destacado de la marca.
So could we please welcome to the stage representative from our main sponsor Ravensburger, the International Category Director, Laurent Cochet.
Les pedimos un aplauso para Laurent.
Cochet.
Y bienvenido.
Gracias.
Este micro para que puedas decir a todas las personas que están aquí, todas las que están participando en este campeonato, cómo de importante es para Ravensburger.
Sí. Hola a todas y todos. Mi español no es fácil de hablar en español, pues voy a hablar un poco en inglés. Hi everyone. We are really happy to be here with you. We know that this competition is very important. We hope that you have a lot of pleasure with our puzzle, with these images that we try to craft for you. And we wish you very good luck for this competition, for this final.
Also with us, Robin as well from Ravensburger. She'd like to say a few words as well. She's been waiting for the final to address you. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I hope you have a really great time, and everyone please stay hydrated. Let us know if you are. Everyone please stay hydrated. Keep an eye out on your pair teammates and make sure they're feeling good. And we really hope you have an amazing time solving this unreleased puzzle. So congratulations, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Muchísimas gracias. Esa emoción compartida con Ravensburger, que entienden que esta es una competición muy importante, que este es un punto muy importante para compartir esa pasión del puzzle. Ellos están emocionados de estar aquí, nosotros estamos emocionados también de estar aquí, emocionados de teneros como compañeros de viaje, que es un viaje precioso el que estamos viviendo en este Campeonato del Mundo en Valladolid. Así que gracias, de verdad.
So big thank you to our representatives on Ravensburger, the main sponsor. Thank you very much for all the work they put in behind the scenes to produce these amazing puzzles year upon year.
Bueno, pues compartimos esa emoción si queréis. Podéis vivir ese momento inicial que va a ser sin duda alguna apasionante. Han sido series clasificatorias, semifinales, las que han traído a estas 100 parejas hasta esta gran final, Charlie.
So here we are, yes, a week of excitement and thrills and drama, culminating in all of these 100 pairs coming together.
Desde luego seguro que habrá apuestas, cada persona tendrá su pareja favorita, hay un nivel impresionante. Yo creo que todas las parejas que han llegado a esta gran final, pase lo que pase, se merecen este fortísimo aplauso.
So a round of applause for our 100 finalists, or 200 finalists if you want. 100 pairs, there are 200 of you.
Sabéis que cambia un poquito, que tuvieron que enfrentar en las pruebas clasificatorias y también en las semifinales un puzzle de 500 piezas. Aquí el reto es el doble, un 1000 piezas, inédito, que vamos a conocer enseguida.
Exactly, so it's been 500 pieces for the pairs up until now, but now we ramp it up and they've got to put 1,000 pieces together. The fastest to do so will be crowned champions.
Vamos a ver, porque me están diciendo por parte de la organización que me lo confirmen. Parece que hay algún pequeño problema que desde luego se va a solucionar inmediatamente. Vemos a las personas voluntarias volar de aquí para allá, cambiar algún vinilo, hacer alguna pequeña modificación antes de que podamos dar inicio a esta prueba. Esas personas voluntarias grandes, Charlie.
So there we are. Well, yeah, there might just be a last-minute hold-up. We're not quite sure. We're waiting to get the go-ahead, but just relax anyway, whatever. But while we're at it, why don't we have a round of applause for all of the volunteers who've been helping us in this heat this week. Thank you so much to each and every one of you.
Pues desde aquí, desde el escenario, con esta visión privilegiada, necesitamos que alguien nos diga ok, tiramos para adelante, nos queda un minuto para entrar en ese último minuto fuera de crono para realizar el desprecintado del puzzle. Así que yo miro directamente al presidente, a Alfonso Álvarez Osorio. Si me da el ok, tiramos para adelante.
So we're just waiting to the go-ahead from Alfonso, the event organizer. Because in theory...
¿Es ok? ¿Está todo perfecto? De momento, me dicen que es todo ok. Vale, pues eso significa, Charlie, que en unos pocos segundos vamos a tener esa suerte, ese lujo de poder vivir esta final por parejas.
25 seconds away from being able to open your bags and remove the seals.
Toda nuestra energía positiva para todas las parejas participantes y seguro que veremos cosas increíbles como estamos viendo a lo largo de todo el campeonato.
So there we are, 10 seconds from being able to open
pues
your bags.
Lanzamos pregunta. ¿Estáis preparadas y preparados?
So, and you may now open your bags.
Vamos allá.
¿Te parece?
Y damos los sabes de los fichajes.
Perfectamente.
Como cambiamos, como dos cuentas.
Pues acaban de desvelar ese gran misterio hasta ahora. Ese puzzle inédito que va a ser el protagonista de esta final por parejas.
So here we are, 24, 23 seconds to go.
Momentos de emoción.
Here it is. Here's the culmination of your pairs week.
Pues venga,
and
lanza la
one
pregunta.
question to ask.
¿Estáis preparados? En 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. ¡Adelante! ¡Suerte!
Hello there and welcome to the 2025 World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships Pairs Final. I'm Jim Eakins and with me I have the incomparable, the indefatigable Rob Shields, host of the Peace Talks podcast.
Thanks for signing me in that way, Jim. I think that indefatigable probably describes you better than me, and that you've been stuck in this place or the opportunity to live in this heat dome for almost the better part of a week at this point.
It's mostly that one. Let's talk a little bit about this puzzle. What's it called there, Rob?
This puzzle is called speed puzzling, conveniently enough. And as you can see, it is a speed puzzling event happening in a dome that seems vaguely familiar.
We actually have somebody from Ravensburger that can come to give us a little more details about it. This is Robin from Ravensburger Global. Hi, Robin. How's it going today?
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. This puzzle is called Speed Puzzling, and it's by a French artist named Nolwenn Dennis. And she is known for her really vibrant artwork, so our team thought this would be perfect for a final puzzle. And it really is representative of our global community. I just love the bright colors, the representation of people, and the venue is exactly this venue here, so it's really special and important to the puzzlers.
It's really cool. I saw somebody post a picture that it's similar to when the Busy Birdies won their team round last year for the finals.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off of that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Same body positions, same body positions. It was if that's the case, it's a pretty great homage to last year's winners.
Yes.
Speaking of body positions, let's take a look at the lower right-hand corner. That's table 1. That's going to be Victor and Natalia from Poland. You can see that they're chewing in on this 1,000-piece puzzle. They already have everything on the right-hand side, and it looks like they're sorting the borders to the left. I believe at table 2, our lower left-hand corner, that's Kati and Kiar from Germany, and they are doing a similar thing. I like how both pairs are putting all of the pieces on one of those whiteboards and then putting the edges on the other. It's going to help prevent things from falling through the cracks.
Yeah, we did see at the very last last minute, there seemed to be an opportunity for folks to get a second whiteboard on their table. Most tables seem to have one, and we saw some people running around offering two. So now we got full board coverage if you want it.
That's really wild. I believe at table 3 in our upper left-hand corner, that's Anna Kazana and Veronika Huptas from Poland doing a fantastic. I'm really interested at their sorting technique here because it looks like they're pulling out different chunks than just the edges. Does that seem right, Rob?
I'm having a little trouble making it out, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to find that they had some sort of strategy. I can't really tell, but I am definitely eager to see how that team can really break out in the 1,000-piece, because I know that a lot of the Polish people and European puzzles in general are more used to a larger format, and so 1,000 pieces it sits more in their sweet spot, because 500s, at least historically, have not been available as much in their region. So I think that we can expect to see the Europeans really push a better edge here.
I really like that. The top right corner, we can see table 10. This is Gisela and Alejandro, two of the fastest puzzlers in the world. Alejandro, a former world champion, and two-time. And it looks like he's sorting out a lot of those yellows. Alejandro likes to build projects and have Gisela figure out where they're going to end up. We're 3 minutes and 27 seconds into this, and some of the top teams are already done with their flip and working on the border. You can see Victor and Natalia in the lower right-hand corner already doing that. Robin, what do you think about this particular puzzle? It looks like it might be a fast one. Was that like by design? Did the artist have this in mind?
Honestly, I wasn't involved in too much of the development process. We have these expert product managers who, it's very top secret even within Ravensburger. So it's sometimes, even when our staff comes to these speed puzzling competitions, sometimes they themselves are seeing it for the first time. I have seen this before, but I really think this will be a pretty quick puzzle. Even though it's 1,000 pieces, I'm thinking maybe 35 minutes or less.
Ooh,
I don't know. That was my guess.
For a 1,000-piece puzzle?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that would be wildly impressive to be able to pull off.
Yeah.
We'll see if that comes in right. Speaking of which, if you're on the YouTube chat, go ahead and throw your times that you think that these folks are going to be able to complete a 1,000-piece puzzle in just a formation of 2 people. It's going to be really exciting.
I will say that I looked up at the recommendation of Jan from myspeedpuzzling.com the top 1,000-piece pairs puzzles that were published, just to get an idea of what is possible out there in the world with a 1,000-piece puzzle. And of the top 10, 4 of them are Natalia and Victor, and the fastest one is 38:08.
Wow.
So I think that I would be surprised if we got below that, but I wouldn't be a lot surprised.
Let's break some records, I think.
Yeah, let's break some records, and I think Victor and Victor, even paired with Natalia, they're doing some record-breaking things. So I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
So this was not particularly built for speed, it just happened to come out speedy, or was this built with speed in mind?
I didn't work with the artist directly, but I think our product managers, they wanted different art styles represented during the competition. So I think this may just have happened to be placed here. But especially with the speed puzzling, we definitely wanted it in the finals as a big final shebang. And I think having it in the finals and being a little bit faster makes it really exciting and competitive. And
I love, there's a couple of things that I'm noticing just by looking at this, that it is puzzles within puzzles within puzzles. So the puzzle has the actual puzzle itself in there, which has a box with the puzzle in there. So it just is puzzles all the way down, which is amazing. And also like a large variety of people, which I think is great. Like not all puzzle brands are great at representing diversity, and it's good to see that we've got a lot of different kinds of people represented in this.
Speaking of different representations, we can see in the lower right-hand corner at table 7, that's Teresa and Marketa from the Czech Republic, previous champions in this division from last year. They are flying right now. In the upper left-hand corner, we can see at table 4, that's Ellen and Inga, sisters from the Netherlands, and they are chewing through the border of this. It looks like they've actually sorted this into chunks and into a strip of green next to the border. I'm really wondering if they're going to try to build this whole thing by color basis rather than what the image basis is.
Yeah, I think Ellen and Inga are one of the ones to watch in this competition. I've really been impressed at how much they have really brought their A game, so to speak, their O and A game to this competition. They're in my list of people that I think that really has a chance at kind of breaking through on this. I'm seeing down in the lower left-hand corner is Tobias and Tira, I think, from Sweden. and it's interesting to see that she's got a whole bunch of pieces already assembled on this black backgrounded item or board, while Tobias is working on the background, the edge, and it looks like they're off to a really good start.
Yeah, you have to wonder if this kind of puzzle favors individuals that are more on the pick and place or the dead reckoning style, or if they're more on the grab targets in small groups and then place them that way. With the way that this sits, do you think that they're going to be able to see enough on one piece of the puzzle in order to spot it right where it's supposed to go, or do you think the clusters are going to work a little bit better?
I think based on the color distribution and having the puzzles within the puzzle, it might not be as easy to identify exactly where an individual piece goes, especially with the puzzle image itself within the puzzle. But beyond that, there's certain larger sections like the blue background with the speed puzzling sign that is more easily identifiable, and then the greenery, I think that will be rather easy to sort. So I think some components will be a little bit more difficult in terms of sorting, but others will be easier.
Yeah, so you see Veronica and Anna here with some colors already sorted out and placed in an area. I think we've seen a couple of people taking on that yellow patch as a first go. It is interesting that, a lot of the rest of their puzzle, the pieces are sort of in differentiated mass. So they're just kind of like, I've got a project, I'm going to go find all the pieces, put them on a board and start working on it.
And it looks like they're barely really talking to each other. Right now, they both are on a mission on very specific projects, and they're not saying a whole lot. And here you can see Victor and Natalia flying away. It's fun to see the way that different puzzlers' fingers operate, where either they're really fast or they're very methodical. Victor is one of those puzzlers where his fingers are moving faster than the pieces go in pretty often, and it's pretty active.
Yeah, and what's amazing about that is that we talk about sort of finger work, and for some of these puzzlers, Victor included, it really is finger work. Like when I'm doing flipping, like my whole hand is involved. But a lot of these puzzlers are so good, so practiced, so talented in that way that you really see as just a small, it's almost like they're playing piano in a very small piano really fast. They're just flipping those with the minimum amount of movements to make that happen.
You can see in the lower left-hand corner, this is Kati and Kiara, a very, very strong pair that have joined forces, sort of a megazord of puzzlers coming together to do a really great job. They have most of that border, and look at that island that Kati has built in the upper left-hand corner of that brighter green. I think that might be a chunk of the poster. It's really, really exciting. We have a couple people in the chat mentioning that this puzzle was leaked a few days ago in size of in terms of the image, and I think that some of the puzzlers here have probably studied this quite a bit, and that might affect how much they have to look at the image in order to keep chugging along here.
Yeah, it's true. I've had some conversations with a number of pairs out there who have been working with the image in the last couple of days, and some people have, just to show you how dedicated, committed people are, people have gone through some fairly great lengths to get as much information as they can about this. I know that, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the leaks sort of happen through the retail channel, and that's a hard thing, I imagine, to keep control of. It must be as devastating for you guys as it is for the puzzlers to have something like this that you guys, as you said, have internal security working so hard on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it was leaked, but we are doing everything we can in the future to make sure that doesn't happen again. We decided to put on our Instagram story an option where puzzlers could decide if they wanted to see it or if they still wanted to have the image remain a surprise. We thought that was sort of a fair option for everyone, because once one person sees it, it sort of spreads like wildfire and you can't really contain it. So we thought, okay, let's share it ourselves, give people the option, and it's unfortunate, but I think we made the best of it, and it's still a really new, exciting puzzle, and I'm really excited to see how fast.
And it really is a beautiful puzzle. A lot of people, when it came out, their first reaction wasn't, oh, it leaked. It was, oh man, that's a beautiful picture, and then they remember the rest of it. I actually think that Ravensburger handled this the absolute best way that you possibly could, so kudos on that, and I'm really excited to see how these folks get on. You can see in the lower right-hand corner there, Victor and Natalia blazing away at this. They've really pulled out a lot of those greens, and I think that Kati and Kiara, they initially looked a little behind, but they had so much sorted out already that they were able to zipper through some of those bigger sections.
Yeah, I was looking earlier at how Kati and Kiara have they're using a huge amount of the space for making sure that all the pieces are flat, visible, and not stacked up on each other, which is something you don't see in a lot of the other places. Like, they went through the effort to make sure that if you want to see a piece, it's not going to be obscured by something else. And I really love that approach. It does mean, however, that pieces are farther away, so it's a sort of trade-off in that respect.
Oh yeah, you can see up in the right-hand corner, that's Alejandro and Gisela doing a really swell job. I'm kind of surprised that the full border hasn't been made just yet, but then whenever you look back, that top line is so duplicated in terms of the blues and the whites, it's kind of for the best that you don't just sit there and spin your tires brute forcing trying to get it in. So some of our top competitors aren't going to have that line in right away.
Well, and a lot of them will have studied it enough to have had a plan. I've talked to a few pairs who've spent probably 4 or 5 hours all together, like studying this, like layering over the 1,000 cut grid on top of the puzzle and figuring out where their blocking is and who's going to tackle what.
That's intense.
Some of them have talked through like, we found that this area is a trap, we're not going that way. We found it only because we started working through it. So I think that they're going to have more of an idea of an approach than they might on a typical final round puzzle.
Well, we're coming up on the 13-minute mark we're coming up on 13 minutes and 20 seconds in this pairs final at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships. Robin, do you think any of the competitors, as they're working on this, might be seeing themselves in the image itself as they're working on it, and that might give them a boost?
I really hope so. I think even if this isn't a one-to-one basis of, taking specific people within the community, I really feel like it's easy to find representation of like, oh, that looks like me, or that's my friend or my sister. I think it's easy to recognize yourself in this image.
As an old fat bearded guy, I would like to put some representation request in for future puzzles.
Noted for next year.
We'd see in the upper left-hand corner at table 5, that's Jana and Katarina from the Czech Republic, the other half of the Czech Puzzle Queens, and you can see that they are really working out that bottom part. I think a lot of teams have decided to go for those green colors, and it makes sense because if you look on that image, green is one of the smallest, what is probably the smallest represented color, so if you pull out that, you can then make those anchor points, place them where they're going to go, and then move on to the next one. That island building is a really good way to lower the noise in your pile, as Becca Taylor calls it, and then move on to the next thing and just sort of make this conveyor belt of building.
Yeah, and I love that there's a gradient in the sign across the top. It's something for the gradient lovers to just kind of pick up and knock out potentially.
Yeah, that lower left-hand corner, that is Tobias and Tyra. I'm known for being Tobias's #1 fan.
You were wearing a hat just a little bit ago.
Yeah, it's true. I love his puzzling because it is so methodical. I don't often see him in pairs on 1,000, so it's really cool to see him work on a board and then place it. But he is so careful. You can see every time he picks up a piece, he's checking the image for where it goes, and then he's going to spot it right where it ends up. He uses that pick and place, that dead reckoning, so efficiently.
So he's really good at sort of spatial awareness and putting something right where it goes.
Absolutely. Those busy puzzles are right up his alley.
Yeah. I have to say that I didn't get a chance to say this at the very beginning, but I am just thrilled to be here. Like, this is so exciting. Like, we've had, most of the week leading up to this particular event. There's some excellent competitors in this event. There's obviously some favorites, but I think that this could go a lot of different ways. We get the privilege of being right up in front where everybody is. Now, we've got a screen that doesn't allow us to see the full field, but we have a direct access to a bunch of these competitors. I feel so, for lack of a better word, blessed to be able to be in this position, to be hanging out, especially with you, Jim, and Robin. It was nice to see you as well. So I just wanted to say how happy I am to be here.
Well, I'm really glad. It's exciting to be around your puzzling heroes and get to meet them in play. You're my puzzling hero, because your podcast is amazing. Let's look at Ellen and Inga in the upper right-hand corner. Their color acuity is amazing. The way that they can distinguish certain bright greens from other bright greens is just wild, and they are flying ahead here. You can see that they're about even with Victor and Natalia right now, maybe slightly behind. The piece count gets a little wonky if the whole thing isn't joined just yet, but they are on a really good pace. We're going to see some really tight finishes.
What is that set of dark pieces that Victor's got going on his board? Because I see Natalia's got what looks like most of the background of the dome. I'm not seeing a lot of dark pieces that are contiguous. Are these all just a bunch of chairs?
I think it's a lot of people's hair on the image, and this is actually a really cool thing that a lot of puzzlers forget about, is that you can actually go for the pieces that have black or dark edges on them. A lot of times those black pieces overfill shadows or closets or large chunks of the puzzle that are difficult, and so you build this reflex in of avoiding those pieces. So that's actually a really good tactic here, because there's not a ton of those, and if you can link even 3 or 4 of them and then dead reckon them where they're supposed to end up, it'll make that whole process a little easier because you have those anchors ready.
And often they have just a tiny sliver of another color, so I think that's a good strategy to sort of own the dark pieces and not focus on the bright ones. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, we sometimes call that feature plus one, where you take the feature of what you're aiming for plus one additional fact in order to get that group. So maybe that person in the purple shirt with the black hair on top, you could grab those as a group and then put them in place.
Yeah, it looks really close right now with Justina and Victor, Teresa and Marquetta, and Ellen and Inga up there, all seeming to be roughly in the same sort of place. I might give a little bit of a nod towards the Victor and Justina side of things. Can't see enough of what's going on in Kati and Kiara's table to see how they're doing, but it looks like they may be doing about the same pace. So I'm excited again that the pacing seems to be really similar in the early goings, which means that we may have a close call at the end.
Yeah, Karen Puzzles is in the chat. Karen Puzzles, kind of a gateway drug for a lot of speed puzzlers into the community, is mentioning that that banner is going in first for a lot of people, and probably because those white letters jump out once you're in that color gradient, which is really smart. And for the folks in the chat, we know that you want to see different teams and different pairs moving on. Right now, our camera crew is focusing on some of the pairs in order to stay out of the way of people moving through the aisles. I know that can be very frustrating for people, but they're trying to make sure that the competitors don't get jostled or bumped around too much. As things progress, the cameras will be moving around, but just for this little bit, we're staying a little focused. We're coming up on the 19-minute mark in the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships final for the pairs division.
Is this the first round where we've had a full set of tables filled? Because I know that we didn't plan to have all of the tables filled at the previous rounds, but this is a full room, I think, this time around.
It sure looks like it. It also definitely feels like it. Like around the room, there are spectators on every square inch of the outside. We also have a screen outdoors where people are watching this live, and the excitement's just palpable across the room. Look at that lower left-hand corner. You can see Victor and Natalia. They've branched out from that corner where that yellow shirt is moving in towards the center, and that's going to be a really good anchor. I'm excited to see which teams are going to start going for those red tables, because those are duplicated all over the place.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that I heard from folks who had been looking at the image in advance, is that the table colors are trapped. So they're like, there's so much red, it's all over the place. It's touching everything. There's not an easy way of pulling it out that isn't pulling out something else. So based on just that piece of information, I'm sort of not surprised as much to see that not coming together early.
Yeah. Seeing how this is flowing, I'm not sure we're going to see a 35-minute time, but I could definitely something in the low to mid 40s. That 35-minute time was on very, very friendly puzzles, and this one is friendly. It's exciting. It's lovely, quite frankly. But it may not be quite as easy in terms of organization for the pairs.
Yeah, which is in a lot of ways really good, right? Like we want the final puzzle to be a challenge. I think in a very real sense, this is less of a challenge than a lot of people had planned to expect from a World's Finals. This is one that I think that people will enjoy putting together as opposed to suffering to put together. And I think this is one that is unlike some finals puzzles that we've seen in other events and even previous years here. This is one that I think folks would really enjoy putting together on their own. Like there are some puzzles like the US the neon safari,
the Swedish fish kind of a thing.
No, it was the black and the neon had neon safari animals.
Oh, anyway, that one was really difficult.
Yeah, we all looked at that and we're like, okay, well, we'll do it in finals, and then we're going to put that in our souvenir box, never to be seen again. But this seems like something that I could see a lot of people wanting to replay.
Well, it's weightlifting. When you get a hard puzzle like that, it makes it where you have to get a little bit better at feature plus one or filling the whole. Like all those little tactics can come together. We know that a lot of puzzlers practice those difficult ones, so that way these ones are even easier. But you have to wonder, sometimes on those harder ones, you get used to a slower pace, like a little bit of this is a slog and this is how I'll brute force my way through it. This is a little bit of a sprint, so having that high physicality along with the accuracy is going to be huge.
So what do we think that the teams are going to end up on? Like, what are the final things in here where they're going to be plugging and playing?
My hunch would be that the sections that are going to be the most difficult are probably the blue dome bits near the top. I know a lot of people love to do sky. That is so broken up that it's probably going to be a little tricky to do. Either that or filling in the red tables near the bottom. That would probably be my bet. But as I say that, Veronica and Anna in the upper right-hand corner there have already put in several of those red pieces. Like I was saying earlier, they just are absolutely phenomenal puzzlers.
Yeah, and watching Natalia, I believe I've been saying the wrong name. Not surprising, but this is not a pronunciation error, but just an actual saying the wrong name error. But Natalia's got all the dome pieces pulled. Has got some of the dome pieces filled in. She's working her way down them. So she's taking some of the hardest parts and trying to make order out of them. Look at, she's doing it in little teeny pieces, which makes a lot of sense. Like, what are some things I can anchor this on? Let's get a few pieces in there and build away from that.
Yeah, this is going to be really cool. Check out table 7, the lower right-hand corner. Teresa and Marquetta, they've done this really interesting thing where their puzzle image is vertical. They haven't done it horizontal. And this is a thing where the top puzzlers try to decide, do I want the image to match the direction that I'm puzzling in, or do I want it to match the way that it's going to sit in my head? So it's really cool that they've gone for that vertical orientation, whereas the other 3 have all gone for landscape.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
It's such a little thing, and this is what I was talking about with Rob earlier. There's all these little micro advantages that you can start building up, and on a 1,000-piece puzzle, there's lots of ways that you can make tiny little adjustments that are going to save yourself time later, and it goes a really long way.
Yeah, and a lot of those adjustments are going to be really specific to you and your pair's capabilities. Like, what is it that you have a natural, instinct for, a natural ability to sort of execute on? Because I know that some teams will rotate the box into the sort of that portrait mode, but other teams just, at least some members of other teams, just can't get their head around it, honestly. They could rather puzzle with it like we're seeing the rest of them in a kind of horizontal mode, because that, even though they're puzzling upside down to that, it still makes more sense to them. So one of the things I do love about competitive jigsaw puzzling is that, everybody finds their strengths, and those strengths can be unique to you. And if you are in pairs or teams, then you can build on each other's strengths, and that creates a unique capability that is just the way that you do things. You can definitely borrow or steal from other people, but whatever it is that you do can be an asset for you.
Yeah, and check out the other thing for Kati and Kiara in the upper left-hand corner. They've decided to do this puzzle in landscape mode. I sometimes call it manatee for reasons, but you can see that they've gone side to side on it. You have to wonder, is that helpful or is it hurtful in terms of their overall accuracy? I know that they've practiced this a whole bunch, so they know what they're doing, but it might be the kind of thing where because it isn't a perfect top-bottom split, it might actually make it a little bit easier for both of them to reach areas that they want to work on.
Yeah, I first saw this technique in the U.S. Nationals, I think year before last, with Andrea Ping and Kelly Walters were doing that, and it was an amazing space management tool. Like, if you can do it this way, you have so much more space on the table. If you've got confined spaces especially, but like all the way down and below there, you can put all kinds of pieces there, and it doesn't allow you to put pieces right on either side, but it just makes such a clean cutoff to where the puzzle is and where the rest of the pieces are.
Yeah. Robin, what do you make of some of the sorting trays being very close to the edge? We have people in the chat saying it's super stressful for them.
That makes me really nervous, because everyone's elbows are sort of, drifting. One accidental bad move and boom, pieces everywhere. So
yeah,
it does make me nervous.
And it's all 3 of the teams that we're seeing on the screen right now. So anybody can walk by and knock that off, or they can knock it themselves and they're suddenly chasing pieces. But these are people who've done a huge amount of practice, and so they're probably really aware of where their arms are, where their trays are, and I would actually be quite surprised if anybody did anything there. That being said, folks who have put them off to the side run the risk of like wandering cameramen or judges interacting with them. We have seen that in the past where people have put trays right on the edge of the table, and then they get interacted with by people walking by.
Yeah, what do you think is going through these competitors' heads right now, as there's so many cameras around, there's so many judges around, there's so much excitement, the heat, there's all these all these environmental factors that are hitting them right now, Rob?
Yeah, I was talking with a pair earlier today about this, and one of the great things about this is that in the individuals, it is such a you versus the puzzle versus the time game, and that can really get in your head. And then once you get into pairs, you have somebody else who can either kind of talk you down, give you, or talk you up, or at least share some of the burden. And so it is, people often say that doing pairs is a lot more easy to get out of your head on, and teams, even more so, teams are often like just straight out fun, but you have a clear designation, you have people that you can hand some things off to. I suspect that they're all feeling hot, but I suspect that that's sort of a tertiary thing in their brain. It's like, okay, well, yeah, this is terrible, but this is a puzzle that's got to be taken down. As we saw yesterday during the Thunderdome, when the lights were going on and off, timers were going on and off. We had lightning, thunder, rain, dripping ceilings.
Yeah.
Very few of the puzzlers even really brought that into their awareness. They were like,
yeah, no one
puzzle to do.
flinched. They were in the puzzle zone, and I'm really amazed at how focused they can be no matter what is going on externally.
Yeah, for a lot of people, this is how they escape, how they kind of let the world drain away, and I think that they've just been, some of them are so good at that the world, even the chaos, drains away in the background.
The intensity in here is really, really impressive. Anna and Veronica on table 3 up there, they have chewed through so much of this puzzle. They might be a little over halfway done at this point, I think.
Look how much of that is dead reckoned.
Yeah, it's just placed perfectly, and then they're going to be able to build off of those islands. They're going to be able to box in from the either side to really be able to start using the shape of the piece in order to wrap it up. It's an absolutely wonderful thing. You can see over in the lower left-hand corner, Victor and Natalia. Victor using a lot of those black pieces. I think he abandoned a big chunk of that sort, but several of them are placed. There's a few floating pieces, and that always makes me a little nervous, but he is so controlled whenever he needs to do a cleanup that he's spot on with it. Up at table 1 in the upper left-hand corner, that's Katya and Kiara. They are probably a little behind Veronica and Anna right now, but you can see that Kiara works out of her left hand to drop several pieces all at once. She does a really good job of accuracy in picking things out of the pile. A lot of people underestimate the importance of sorting in these big piece counts, but being able to get the exact things that you want helps you put them in a little bit faster.
Yeah, as the person designated sorter on both my pair and teams, a sorting of a 1,000-piece puzzle, like especially if you're going to commit to it, and you can't really commit to a full-time sorter, obviously, in a pair situation. But a sorting is something that you're doing continuously. Like, it is just an activity that you get started on, and probably not until you're 3/4 of the way through are you done sorting. So, like, it can be a huge advantage. But it's one of those things that in this case you're trading off time, right? Like you gotta figure out like what sorting is enough that my assembling can take that hit, right? How much of sorting is going to accelerate my ability to put pieces in place later?
What is the trade-off going to be? It takes about a half a second to pick up a piece, and then anytime you have to travel a distance, that starts adding up real quick. So you're absolutely right, Rob. There's all of these investments on time that you hope pay off a little bit later, and trying to figure out what's going to be the best move is really important. You can see Victor and Natalia in that lower left-hand corner. They'd made a huge amount of progress all of a sudden, probably because they had all of these little micro sorts already set up, and they're really squeezing in towards the middle now.
Yeah, I was thinking that Natalia was sort of slowing down with the dome pieces, because those are, I think, very challenging, not surprisingly at all. It's like it wants to be a sky, and so if you're a sky expert, maybe it speaks to you. But I think to your earlier point, it's not enough of a sky, and so I do think that that's sort of dragging them down. But yeah, then pieces just came out of nowhere. They seem to be filling them out. I wish we had the luxury of just sitting or watching one person at a time sort of filling this out, because as we jump around, it doesn't take very long between when you're looking at one team, looking at another team, and then coming back for that first team to have made a huge jump in their assembly. I mean, I just look back up at Katya and Kiara, and they've made such a huge jump since the last time I looked in that corner.
Well, and a lot of these puzzlers are able to do solo 500-piece puzzles in like 35, 40 minutes, and that's at a really solid like 14 pieces per minute line, right? So if you look away for 1 minute, a pair can get 30 pieces in, and it looks totally different at that point.
I deeply respect how you are constantly putting things into context like that, because every time you say something, I've been listening to the live stream the entire time, and you've been able to put those kind of things in context of like, here's how many pieces per minute this means, and this is the kind of progress you can make in that that amount of time. And I really enjoyed the way that you previously talked about, like right near the end, if you're coming down to it, like, you know, at 10 pieces per minute or even 5 pieces per minute, that means you can make a certain amount of progress that you can count on, and all hope is not lost.
Well, and it's, you know, sometimes it is easier said than done, and I know how hard that is. Absolutely. But in this case, it might be easier done than said. Look at Natalia and Victor. They almost have that entire dome skyline filled out. Natalia just crunching through it. I think she pulled all that out and let Victor do a lot of the other component work.
It's interesting to see that gap down in the lower left-hand corner where there's a negative puzzle in front of Anna and Veronica's. Sorry, having a mental brain lapse. Is a little bit warm in the dome here, but in front of Veronica, that little area where there would be a puzzle, but it was a perfect outline of a puzzle. No puzzle in there yet.
That's sort of poetic that the puzzle is the hardest part of this puzzle.
It's very meta. Is there a puzzle within the puzzle within the puzzle?
Yes, there is.
Oh my gosh.
It's hard to see, but within the boxes and the puzzles on the tables, it's less detailed, but there is puzzles within puzzles.
Remind me, what's the artist's name on this one?
That is Nolan Dennis from France.
Well, I hope Nolan may have interacted with Leonardo DiCaprio and had an inception moment with this puzzle, going 3 layers deep inside of it. And these puzzlers are 3 layers deep into this. We have a new table up there, table 13 in the upper right-hand corner. That's Gabriel and Alejandro from Spain. They are absolutely fantastic. Gabriel, also known as Gabby, really flying through this. We're starting to jump around a little bit. They have that lower right-hand corner almost completely full. I really like, you know, some teams, they bounce around to several different projects. It looks like they are going for the strategy of get one big chunk down and then expand through there as much as you can until you run out of options, then move on.
Interesting. So what do you think about that versus a sort of pick and place? Like, I can imagine benefits to both of those.
I think it really comes down to what your eye is able to see. Like, I am not great at pick and place because I get a little distracted. I get a little confuzzled about what's actually on the image. But I have a pretty decent time at going, these are all the same texture, this is all the same color, let me grab it, put it where it's going to go. But for and it seems like those two were in that pocket. But for a team like Katya and Kiara, they are so good at being able to nail down exactly one piece in a sea of options and then branch it out from there. You can see that they're starting to make big joins in those spots where they know that those pieces are going to go, but haven't necessarily connected to the rest of the puzzle body yet.
So I'm seeing that Kiara's got a couple of trays right in front of her, and I can't see rhyme or reason to what's going on those trays. Any idea what they might be doing?
We just lost it as I looked away. I'm Jim Eakins. It's nice to see everybody for a minute. Nerd Puzzle on Instagram. This is
Rob Shields from Peace Talks.
And next to us.
And I'm Robin Yates from Ravensburger.
Just in case anybody forgot who we are, we're crossing the 35-minute mark on this pairs final in the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships. You have to wonder if there are any pairs that are going to aim towards a shape sort at some stage in this.
Yeah, I was wondering this, and it seems like, you know, I think Marquetta here has got something that looks like it could be shapes on the dome side here on her board. I can't quite see it well enough, but I see a lot of the same shape over and over and over again. So maybe she's already invested a little bit in that. I can see it for sure.
Yeah, you can see they're making little adjustments. They're trying to find that join to lock in that big floating chunk, but it may not be ready. Sometimes if you're one piece off, that's enough to make your brain try to over focus and figure out, how do I get this one in? How do I get this one in? And a lot of the top puzzlers have trained themselves to move on if they don't make a connection in about 4 seconds.
Yeah, and the other thing that you can do is ask the other person really quick to take a look, because often the different perspective can spot that immediately. Now it's another one of those trade-offs, right? You're taking an assembler away from speed assembling, but often if you get an anchor into the edge of the puzzle, it has at least a mental boost, and you don't have something floating around, so it can be very useful just to get that check marked off.
And I've never been more excited to be wrong in my life. You can see Alejandro has also finished that dome sky part.
Look at that.
Yeah, really chewing through it, and it looks like Marquetta has a good 2/3 of it locked away. That right hand side still being a little tricky, but she's made progress and a lot of sorting in other places that I think will pay off down the line.
Now, Alejandro just having had surgery recently, I'm surprised to see him standing. Have we seen him doing a lot of puzzling standing?
No, he has a major leg injury, so this is kind of him going full tilt right now. Speed puzzling can bring out the best in people. It can also bring out the most competitive in people. So Alejandro doing the standing mode right now, he's putting a lot of wear on his body and also on his back. I don't think we talk about that a whole lot. We've seen puzzlers try to take slightly different stances in order to relieve that pressure on their back. They'll do a little bit of a split. I haven't seen anybody do what I sometimes call the Pang perch from Andrea Pang, where she puts her foot on a chair and kind of leans over to relieve her back a little. Haven't seen a lot of that, but the way that these puzzlers have to deal with the physicality of this sport, going 37 minutes and and almost 30 seconds into this, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, as we see that Katia and Chiara are, I think, sort of closing out the top half of this puzzle, it seems almost like they're working their way from the top down. I know that that's not what they're in fact doing, but they're getting a lot of that top part out. They're consolidating down the space. That'll allow them to find things much easier. One of the things I learned from listening to you, Jim, was that the idea that having a lot of empty holes is actually an advantage, because you know where a piece is going to go. It's not like one of a bigger hole. So I'm curious to see, as we come down to the end of this, is we'll probably see a lot of just spot filling of reds, maybe where people maybe that will allow those to come together really fast, because that piece is just going to go one place.
Yeah, anytime you can lower the number of options, right? You increase the probability of you being able to just randomly pick up a piece and sink it in, right? If you pick up, 2 pieces out of a 500-piece puzzle at random, there's less than a 0.5% chance that they're going to go together. So every time you can decrease that probability by getting more of the puzzle done in other places, it gives you a better shot at just grabbing and going. It's part of why you see that big acceleration towards the end with a lot of puzzlers, and also why the judges and the camera crew get a little nervous, because everything starts looking closer and closer.
Yeah, it looks like Katia and Chiara are actually doing really well. Like I think it's safe to bet on Victor this time around. He's been crushing it the entire week. But I have to say, this is not an apparent runaway as some of the other competitions he's been in this week have been.
Yeah, and one of the things that I desperately hope, and I hope every single time, I want pairs to get a personal best on a first look puzzle in this round. That would be absolutely amazing. I know some of the other puzzles, they've seen that puzzle or they've seen versions of it before, and it would be really phenomenal to have a pair that goes, we did our best in the pairs final at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships.
Yeah, will have the asterisk on it, though. Like, his first look is definitely not something you can say about this for a lot of the puzzlers. And I wonder if there are folks out there who weren't following the Ravensburger Instagram, or weren't following my Speed Puzzling News, or any of the other sites that were sharing those images, and maybe have a disadvantage in not having seen it. How much of an advantage, Jim, do you think it is having seen it in advance? It's
really going to depend on how much studying they do, but also what the puzzler's mental memory mapping is like. Because you can have a lot of people where they look at an image and they go, "That's cool," but the tiny little details don't get memorized inside of their brains in such a way that they can go, "This piece is that thing that I have lodged away in the back of my head." So part of it is dependent not just on the image being available, but who the puzzlers are. Some people might get an advantage of it, some people might not, and that's just the nature of the beast right now. And I hope that you get a lot of folks coming onto your Peace Talks podcast to have that discussion in order to figure out what works for them and what doesn't.
Yeah, well, I'm just happy that people keep coming on to Peace Talks whenever I ask. So it just goes to show you how great a community this is. That especially in the early stages of my podcast, like, all kinds of people said yes, and I had nothing out there. And so it's an amazing community. We were talking about this earlier. It's just hard to even think of a puzzler who's like even vaguely negative on the puzzling scene. Everybody is just so great. They help each other. It was a great fun to watch, like the Norwegian team fanning another team the other day, during the competition. So it is just a great community overall.
Yeah, everyone is willing to help at any moment. The volunteers have been amazing. The camera people have been acting so quick to get coverage, and the vibes here are just all around very positive, considering the heat wave in Valladolid right now.
Yeah, it was interesting during the outage of the live stream yesterday. Everybody knew we didn't have a live stream, but the cameramen were still running around ready to capture the shots the moment the stream came back up. So it wasn't like they were taking the moment off and waiting for things to come up. They were going and going and going. So Robin, are you much of an avid puzzler? Are you a speed puzzler?
Well, I feel like it's unfair for me to compete working for Ravensburger.
Sure.
So at competitions, sometimes we'll have a staff table reserved unofficially, so we'll do it for fun. And I am known for hosting speed puzzling within Ravensburger, so during corporate meetings and things like that. So I do speed puzzle, but not officially.
That's awesome.
Well, hopefully at some point you might be able to hit up some of the ones that aren't organized by Rav, so that way you can take part in that fun. Everybody enjoys seeing people behind the scenes, enjoy the sport and take part of it, and that would be really fun to see you in there at some point.
I would love to.
Yeah, how do you think you would try to approach this one?
Oh boy, I think I would do the banner up top first. I would try to separate all the red table pieces and I think I would do that last because, like you said, there would be gaps where, you know where those pieces are going. So I think I would do the banner, the people, and the different clothing, the greenery. I would do all of that first and then fill in the puzzles and the tables afterwards.
It seems like a pretty good method. You can see Katya and Kiara in that upper left-hand corner basically doing what you're saying. They're starting to close in on those reds. I can't quite make out the sort. I think what they've done is they've pulled out the some of the pieces that have awkward colors on it. It might even be the puzzle within a puzzle kind of pieces, and then they'll try to land those in pretty quickly. You can see Veronica and Anna over on table 3 in our upper right-hand corner. They have a huge chunk of that bottom built out, but now that sky dome is going to be the thing that's going to be the next little speed bump in their way. Victor and Natalia in the lower left-hand corner, they have that upper dome part built out, and it seems like they have a lot of larger holes left in the bottom that might slow them down a little bit. We know that Victor is great at shape work, but with those big gaps, it may not be quite enough just yet.
Do you think that having left the dome for later, though, gives you a lot more edges to build off of, and maybe that can come together faster? I'm looking at the amount of dome that they have, and it's pretty surrounded by all kinds of things. And as I've heard you say before, you can sort of zipper at least that kind of top section together fairly quickly, it would seem.
Yeah, you might be able to sandwich it in from both the bottom and the top. I think there might be a little bit of gradient, or even looking at the image real close, some of those chunks are a little bit darker and have little bits of tree behind them, and that might make it a little easier. So if those are sorted, they might be able to just blast ahead all of a sudden. You can see in the lower right-hand corner, Teresa and Marquetta have the full top dome built out, and they have a lot of the tables already sorted onto trays. And this is one of those cases where did doing that sort early on make an investment in time that's going to help them out later, or did it just eat little half seconds here and there that might put them a little behind?
Yeah, I was thinking it would be interesting to know whether those are intentional trays with specific things on them, or rather just like pieces that they discarded. But it seems pretty intentional because I'm seeing a lot of red on that lower right-hand one, but I'm also seeing red on some of the other ones. And I'm surprised all of these teams have filled out there's a slightly darker red in the lower left-hand corner and a slightly lighter red, and they're filling pieces that look like they're just a solid color, and getting them pretty complete as they go.
Yeah, it's really impressive just how these competitors are able to see tiny little differences in color on these small pieces.
Absolutely.
Like it's wild. It's impressive.
Robin, is that a skill you have?
I think, when you're looking at the puzzle image on the box, you think, oh, that will be rather difficult. But when it's individual pieces and you're comparing them right next to one another, I think it is a little easier to have certain shades stick out.
Here's a broader view. You can see the stream team, Hannah and Kyle from the US down here. You can also see Rihanna and Mel from the Aussie All-Stars. Good to get a shot of some of the other folks out there in the field. This is a fast, I know we're 46 minutes into it, and in some ways that is a long time. But this is a fast-moving collection of people all together, so it is moving back and forth a lot. So it's unfortunate that we can't both get wide coverage and keep you updated on the kind of day-to-day of this, of the fastest puzzlers.
It's really crazy how much the sport has advanced in just a few years. Not long ago, getting down to just an hour was considered near impossible for 1,000-piece puzzles in pairs. And now these folks are looking to be able to crack that without too much trouble, and the huge chunk of the field as well.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody earlier yesterday who said, yeah, I've knocked 10 to 15 minutes off my average time last year, but the entire field has moved faster than that. So they're actually losing places despite the fact that they have put in the work and made such huge gains.
And a huge part of that is that the community loves to talk about what they're doing, what they're working on. And, we're still developing all of these techniques and vocab and definite and trying to get better at the thing as a whole, not just as individuals, is really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm on record as saying that I think in the next 10 years we'll see a first try individual 500 in under 20 minutes in competition. And last year that seemed like an outrageous claim. I'm feeling more and more good about that, I have to say.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I would love to see speed puzzling be an Olympic sport. I think that would be the ultimate goal one day.
That would be really, really cool. I mean, we've had chess was an Olympic sport at one point. There's all sorts of other things. This could definitely be in there. I mean, look at how much these folks are sweating, and they're just flying through. The amount of concentration it takes to be able to do this at speed for going on 50 minutes here is bananas.
Yeah, I have to say that this is. I thought this puzzle would finish a little faster than it has. I know there was a pool going around of people placing some idea of what they thought the times were going to be, and I'm glad I opted out of that because my ability to predict puzzle times is terrible.
Same, mine was very wrong.
Almost as bad as pronouncing people's names. Apologies on both fronts. So it does seem like this puzzle brought enough challenge to it. I was afraid that people were just going to breeze through it, or excited, actually. I would love to have seen people breeze through it. But it looks like it is providing enough challenge for a pair to really sink their teeth into.
Yeah, and really, no matter what place these competitors finish in, just finishing a 1,000-piece puzzle at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships is a huge accomplishment, and they are doing amazing. You can see the upper left-hand corner, Katya and Kiara know that the end is in sight. You can see that they just got this huge boost of physicality going, and they are both moving way faster. And this is one of the things that's really difficult, is that at a certain point, that fatigue starts setting in, and you and your partner have to convince each other to keep going, to keep that pace up as best as you possibly can.
Was it you that Alejandro gave the advice to, if you want to avoid back pain, go faster?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alejandro perhaps heeding his own advice here, just picking it up before he can get too much into the strain of being bent over for 40 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and not even just physically, but the mental game inside of this. You have to stay focused on that. You have to be counting things. You have to be moving around. You have to be ignoring everything else on top of the pressure inside of here. Because some people know that they're in that upper tier of puzzling, and there are so many other people around them that are at that same pace. You can see people's arms moving out of the corner of your eye. You can kind of see what things have been completed, and that little bit of doubt of did I do this in the right order can creep in real easily as we cross the 50-minute line here at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships
now
pairs
watch how
final.
Victor's doing this. Like, he just picked up a puzzle, and he tried to land it in probably 5 different places. And a lot of people have really good acuity. They can put it right where it goes, and that's so satisfying to watch. The thing about Victor and also Alejandro shares this is their hand speed is just so fast that they can place, and their hand speed is their hand force is so delicate that they can pick it right up if it's not where it goes. Now, I know that Victor has said on a podcast I could refer you to that he's dissatisfied every time that he can't place it. Like, he wants, whereas I feel like Alejandro is much more like, this roughly goes here, I'll try it here, move on to the next one. Victor really wants to place it right where it goes every time, and so a little piece of him is suffering every time he's got to try it in a different place, but he can do it so fast.
Yeah, and that's where that physicality component comes into, right? It's not just a matter of being able to see it and being able to move it. You have to do it at pace, and if it's not right, move on from that, get through that. But you can see Anna and Veronica here have completed the entire bottom half. They are only on the upper blue part of it. They may be able to win out, and they're almost at the stage where that right-hand side has zero ambiguity, and they might be able to just brute force that end. Yeah. You can see that, I think that's Anna bringing pieces over for Veronica, who's doing a little bit of sorting as she goes through. Katya and Kiara, piece-wise, I think are falling a little behind, but they have such a fast close. It's going to be a game of who can reach that point of being able to just go to shape sort of, just shape fill in at this stage.
Yeah, it looks like Anna and Veronica have the fewest number of pieces. They have the fewest gaps. It'll be interesting to see if these gaps are the most challenging ones and they're slower. They don't look slower, I have to say, versus all of the other gaps that maybe are easier to find a piece that fits into.
Robin, how exciting is this for you and for Ravensburger to see so many top competitors just blaze through this puzzle at an amazing speed?
Oh, this is amazing, I think, for all of Ravensburger and the artists who are making our puzzles. And a lot of the times our artists, they're making puzzle artwork for the first time. So especially for being featured at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship, it's really heartwarming for our staff and our artists.
Now, in this particular case, I know I've talked to some artists in the past where they didn't know that the art that they were doing was going to be in a competition. Like Nathaniel Mortensen has mentioned that he didn't know that the first time around that his stuff was going to be used in a speed puzzling competition. This one says speed puzzling right across the top of it. So did the artist in this case potentially know what was coming?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, so he knew what he was building it for.
Take a look at Anna and Veronica. It's hard to tell if they're doing a fill the hole tactic where you look at the gap and then you check the image, grab the piece that you want and sink it, or if they're going piece first, grabbing the piece and then figuring out where it ends up. But they are doing it so quickly that it doesn't really matter at that stage. They can smell that end is coming, and both of them got that little bit of a physical boost. And this is where taking control of the adrenaline comes in handy, because you can see little tiny shakes, and that's just enough to nudge a piece out of where it's going to go.
Now you can see that with Anna and Veronica, they're slowing down pretty substantially here, right? They're trying to figure out how to make this last little gap fill in. There's a lot of sort of hunt and pack, trying to place things next to each other. So they don't have the obvious places. It's not obvious this hole, this piece, this hole, this piece, this hole. So they are slowing it down a little bit, but I kind of don't think that it's slow enough for anybody to be able to catch them.
No, I think they might have enough advantage here to take first place, but look at Katya and Kiara, how quickly they are going. Teresa and Marquetta in the lower right-hand side, they know that there's a buzz starting to happen. There's a crowd starting to form around other tables, and they're starting to get that extra little boost, and that can be a little jarring on as well.
Now, as we are getting close to the end, I have to hop off to get some coverage of the winning moments. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the hard work all of the hosts have been doing for the live stream. It's been amazing to stay tuned, and thank you so much.
Thanks for being part of the team.
Yeah, thanks for all you've set up, Robin. This is exciting. I think they're down to about the last 15 pieces here for Anna and Veronica. They are closing this out really quickly. There's only one large gap on that right-hand side. They're going to be able to blast through this. I think there's a little bit of tree pieces that they're going to try to use the greens. They're going to try to outline that entire section piece by piece before dropping into the middle. They're coming up on 54 minutes and 20 seconds. Are they going to be able to keep this under 55? I think they're going to be able to do it, Rob.
I think you're right, and I can't believe you're talking that fast.
I got super excited because they're moving fast. They're down to the last 5 pieces or so. They're going to keep this under 55 minutes.
His hands are shaking.
Oh, they know it's happening. They can hear the crowd. Little bit of excitement. We're coming in on last 2. There it is.
Well done, Anna and Veronica.
Congratulations to Anna and Veronica from Poland. First place finish at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships Pairs Final. And right behind them, on their heels, Katya and Kiara finishing up the last 15 pieces or so.
It's going to be under 30-second difference, maybe under 20-second difference.
Oh, wow. And that difference can come down to just the flip alone. And Katya and Kiara finish in second place. Congratulations.
Looks like maybe I can't tell if they have a missing piece there and call time, or just thought they might have.
Phenomenal puzzling.
Well done.
It's so difficult to do it at this level. I was saying earlier, Rob, that just picking up a piece costs about half a second. If you have the initial dump of pieces and an extra 30 pieces are face down, that's going to be an extra 15 seconds worth of flip that you have to do. That isn't under your control.
So I was talking with Irina on the U.S. team, who has the record for the speed puzzling last year in the U.S., the speed run. Cats on a Bookshelf, I think is what it was. And I asked her with her fastest time under 18 minutes, 17 something. I said, like, was that the very last run you did? She said no, it was all luck of how the pieces fell. So she tried it many times after her best one because the pieces just fell differently and cost her more time.
Yeah, and that's totally what can happen here whenever the margins are that tight. But look at this is how the race continues, because we still have a full podium that can finish up here. Victor and Natalia are so close. They're at that stage where there's not a whole lot of gaps left in towards the middle, but they need to work out those puzzles within puzzle pieces. That's the thing that's that meta-ness might have been tripping them up a little bit.
Yeah, that is interesting that it is a very different place that they ended up than where Veronica and Anna finished up. And we see a similar sort of thing on the Teresa and Marquetta side, where they've got that puzzle piece, some pieces down at the bottom.
Inga and Ellen in the upper left-hand corner here, table number 4, they know that they are in the finish. It's going to come down to who's going to brute force this a little bit faster, and I think Inga and Ella have the edge.
I think you're right. I think that, you count the first couple of large bits of applause, and you just kind of run with it. And so I think that at this point, you know that you're in contention. You know that there's been a couple, but there's not been a lot.
Yeah, look at how Inga and Ellen's puzzle, it's Swiss cheese based. Any piece they pick up, they know exactly where it's going to go. There's no ambiguity.
Look how fast Ellen's placing those pieces.
Yep. Victor and Natalia have a larger gap. It might have been the same number of pieces a minute ago, but because of where those gaps are, that makes a huge difference. Inga and Ellen, are they going to be able to keep this under 58 minutes?
Look at the face on Ellen. She's just like really in the zone. She's focused. She's like, we got to do this. We got to do this. You can tell that there's a lot of adrenaline, a lot of stress maybe going through that. And she's pushing it all the way to the end.
Congratulations. A third place and a podium finish for Inga and Ellen. Congratulations.
Look how thrilled they are.
And the race keeps going on. Our puzzlers are doing fantastic. It's got to be jarring to hear applause and everybody gets that little boost of panic initially.
I'm not sure Victor knows what that feels like to have other people be applauded before he gets there. So this may be a new experience for him in Worlds.
Well, and that's A-okay because he is going to certainly experience being a top finisher here in this pairs division.
Absolutely.
Are they going to keep it under 58.25? And there's Hannah Sigler and Mari Black also coming into a close.
Yeah. Looks like they've got a lot of blue pieces left. Looks like we're not going to see Victor finish.
Looks like they have a mistake. Off screen, there it is. Victor and Natalia close it out just over 58 minutes and 30 seconds. Congratulations.
Yeah, it looks like we're set up for a lot of back-to-back finishes now, where it really is going to start to accelerate. Don't envy being a floor judge at this point.
Yeah, I don't envy the judges. I don't envy the camera crew at all either. This is going to come really tight. Look at Hannah and Mari on the right-hand side there. They only have that blue section left, and it looks like they've done a little bit of sorting on those Zacco puzzle boards. Doing a really swell job there. I think Alejandro and Gisela in the lower left-hand corner, they're able to brute force the rest of this, and it's coming down to that meta puzzle within a puzzle piece remaining.
It is, and Hannah and Mari have fewer pieces. I think they're about the same, but they have the harder pieces to place. And they've got a stripe down the one side, and then that kind of corner that we saw earlier was tripping people up. There's Gabi and Alejandro. Gaga, I believe.
Gabi, yeah. And they are doing a fantastic job. This is going to be really, really tight. Alejandro has one of the fastest closes in the speed puzzling community. His fingers are so quick, and he will just try a piece until it goes in. They may be able to pull out slightly ahead here as we cross the hour line here in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, we got two Alejandros on the screen, so we're talking about Alejandro Clemente Leon in the upper right-hand corner with Azela.
Thank you. Oh, and you can see Teresa and Marquetta coming into the close as well. They're going to be able to start brute forcing this. They're almost at that stage where they can do everything just by shape. Alejandro and Gisela in the upper right-hand corner are coming into the end. They have about 20 pieces remaining. Mari Black and Hannah are down to about 25 remaining, I think. This is going to be really tight.
Yeah, I just love that as you keep going through the field, it just feels exciting all the way through. Like everybody's shooting to get their best job done, and it comes down to seconds between teams.
And it's going to be so tight. And here comes Alejandro and Gisela. Are they going to be able to close this out? There's one more piece remaining. Do they have any missing sitting around? They get those last two in. Can they do it? Congratulations.
There we go. Hour 35. Or hour and 35 seconds, to be clear.
An absolutely fantastic time. You know, being able to get these down to an hour is wild. And Teresa and Marquetta are right there. They're right on their heels. They're going to be able to keep this under an hour and 1 minute.
Hannah and Mari are right there, too. I think it's
Here we
coming
come.
right down to it.
Last 3 pieces. Are they going to get it? Getting it. There it is. Under an hour and a minute. Congratulations. And now we have the last finish. Hannah Sigler and Mari Black coming into the close. Are they going to be able to get this done just before Alejandro Gabi? They do. Congratulations.
I love the look of surprise on Mari's face.
Me too. I love her. And look, here's up in the right-hand corner. It's Hannah Doyle and Kyle Kosen.
Yep, looks like they're the stream team. They're plowing their way through that. They've got the last few pieces, and they got that stripe right underneath the sign, and then they've got the large pool of the dome off to the other side. So it looks like they're going to work through it. We've got Alejandro Gaga and Gabi finishing there. The youngest competitor, I think, in the individuals team, Gabi is. And so they just crushed it here. It's good to see the young folks starting to make their kind of presence known. Got a couple of folks coming up to the table here to join us. Welcome, congratulations. Tell us who you are really quick, just even though we've been saying your name over and over again for the last 40 minutes. Who are you?
Weronika Huptas, I am from Poland.
Oh,
I'm very loud and they're telling me that I'm quiet, so get right up on that mic, get into the mic and talk right at it.
Okay, so I am Anna Kazana from Poland.
Welcome and congratulations. That was an amazing show to watch. Well done. How did it feel?
Stressed, tired.
You hadn't been feeling well all week. Did you get enough feeling better in this particular round to be able to put your full energy at it? Were you feeling better this time?
Yes.
Yes. And what did you like about this puzzle?
Okay, I liked about this that it's very colorful. I love colors on the puzzle, but they were also a bit busy, and I don't really like busy puzzles.
You don't really like busy puzzles, so
yeah,
it looked like. So how did you approach this puzzle? Did you do the dome first and then the other parts later?
Okay, when we first saw the puzzle, we thought that I will start with from the top,
yeah.
And Veronica will start with the tables. But when we saw the elements, we thought it's not a great idea, and we picked whatever looks the most colorful and put that together. And
hats, skin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and so you guys had seen the image beforehand? Before the image that was leaked out, everybody got to see the image. You guys were able to see the image?
Yes, we was.
But you're saying that the difference between the image that you saw and when you actually got to the pieces was different enough that it changed your strategy?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's really cool that you were able to adapt on the fly. It looked on the cameras like you weren't really talking to each other a whole lot. Do you guys do a lot of talking, or is it just trusting that the other person is able to finish things?
Something in the middle. We not talk very much, but when I took something to assemble, I talk Veronica about it. If she spots the right element for me, she will found it.
Tell us a little about how you're feeling right now, because there are so many fantastic puzzlers in here. You already know you're fantastic puzzlers. What are you feeling knowing that you put up such an amazing time here?
It's amazing. I cannot tell.
We are very happy, and it's
very,
wow.
very happy.
Well, last year, as we got a team finishing up, last year you were described as the urban legend. People didn't know about you. You came, you made a splash, and now I think you've really made a solid statement of just kind of putting in an impressive time out on this puzzle. So I appreciate that you were here and we can all watch you work. What did you think that other folks were near where you guys were, or did you had paying any attention to whether other people had finished yet?
I looked twice on the right, but I can't tell anything from that. And
it didn't help you?
Yeah, it didn't help me, so I think it's a waste of time to look around. So I focused on our puzzles.
Was there anything else that you had to, like, so you made a major strategic change once you saw the pieces in terms of how you would approach it? Were there any other things that you had to make a shift on or coordinate differently once you started really getting into the puzzle, or did it just come together pretty quick?
They were pretty quick, but I had to change a few times because something didn't go well, so I leave it and take another pieces.
I got a lot of screaming going on in the background as more teams finish. The Dutch team. More people who are urban legends this year. This is the Brot sisters from the Netherlands.
It looks like at the lower left-hand corner, table 15, that's Rosa and Hannah from Finland, are over in the right-hand corner now. And there are so many teams that are coming close to a finish. This is really phenomenal. How many teams are so close to about the same times? This is like it's just amazing to have this strong of a field all in the same place.
I think that is
Martine and Marcia from the
and
Netherlands.
From the Netherlands. Well, I will let you go because I know that you guys need to go off and enjoy and celebrate and maybe get out of the heat. But thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on such an amazing job. Is there any last things you want to say to anybody before we let you go?
Well, this event is amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Congratulations. Our first place finishers in the Pairs World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships Finals, Veronica and Anna. Fantastic job.
All right, now we're looking at table 18 here with Anna and Nina from Germany. Looks like they're coming right down to it. Got the last couple of pieces. Yep, still into the dome area. I think we'll see that as a repeating theme.
Congratulations to Anna and Nina. And here we are at table 5. This is Jan and Katarina from the Czech Republic. Coming into that final little bit of a close, we're at the hour and 8 minutes and 13-second line. Are they going to be able to keep this under an hour 9? It's really, really close. Being able to get that last little boost to get those shape pieces in is going to be really hard, but I think they're going to be able to do it. Look, this is what I mean about being methodical. Right?
How so?
See, they pick up a piece and they check it. It wasn't brute forcing, and they do a great job. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, and table 49. That was Flav and Clement from France.
Nice. Well done. As we see Diana and Irina down in the lower left-hand corner from Canada, because Irina is, I believe, a Canadian citizen living in the U.S., which makes things a little bit confusing.
Yeah, there's a rule this year that you have to be a citizen of the country in order to in order to qualify for that country. It's a little controversial rather than based on residency. But you can see that table 37 there with Irina and Diana, they're doing a fantastic job. They're going to have, I think they're going to have a top 20 finish here. Congratulations, great job. That was an excellent close. Over on the left-hand side, that's table 19. That's Jasmine Lambert and Emma Williamson. They are coming in on the bottom, and that's where those puzzles within puzzle pieces are a little tricky. But again, an hour and 10 minutes to do a 1,000-piece puzzle as a pair is wild.
Yeah, we've got a couple of folks joining us here whose brains that we can pick to see how they were doing. Welcome to the table. Would you do me a favor, even though we've been talking about you for a while, to give us your name? Tell us who you are.
I'm Chiara.
I'm Kati.
Hey, Kati and Chiara. How are you? How did you enjoy that puzzle?
We really like the idea of the puzzle. It's sweet. I don't love the puzzle. Like, there's a lot of puzzles that I had more fun like putting together. Yeah. But I really like the idea of it. Like, that's really sweet and it's really fun.
What were some of the bigger challenges of this one?
Not fainting for Kati. I think I didn't give her enough sugar before we started.
True.
And the puzzle inside the puzzle. Those have pieces, and it's like, oh yeah, I know where the lady with the purple shirt goes, and then it's like, oh no, actually this is a piece of the puzzle inside of the puzzle, and I was messing it up.
What kind of
Stop it.
We're having a little bit of a technical malfunction with the fan here, unfortunately. There we go. We're fixed out.
Sorry, so I lost a bit of air inside of ventilator fan.
I think that fan is your fan, is your biggest fan right now. Just trying to do that. Tell me a little bit about what were you guys thinking when you hit those sections of duplication where it's really hard to distinguish what piece goes where. Like how does a top pair like that handle those situations?
Like at the end.
Yeah.
We tend to shape sort. Inside there were still a few sections that we could have pulled together, like the blue table on the right. But mostly I would say that we shape sort.
Yeah, and with the shape sorting, also kind of ignore what is on the image and only focus on the shapes, so you don't get distracted by the different perspectives and angles of the puzzles inside the puzzle.
Now, I assume that you guys saw the puzzle in advance, as everybody had a chance to do.
Yeah.
It was leaked and then distributed everywhere, including by Ravensburger in advance. So did that help you create a strategy going into this puzzle?
We did make some plans because of that. We try not to plan too much because having a strategy for how to approach the puzzle hurt me at Europeans, where we also had found out what puzzle to do.
Yeah.
So I very much, yesterday when we were talking about it, I was very strict on these are options, but we will not decide until we actually see the puzzle.
Well, and in fact, we were just talking with Anna and Veronica, and they had a plan. Anna was saying that they scrapped when they actually saw the puzzle because the details of the pieces or the details of the illustration were different enough that they just decided to go an entirely different way. So to your point, options is great. A specific plan maybe not so great.
I still prefer not knowing what's gonna come out and have the full surprise.
Yeah.
But it's a busy enough puzzle that we saw it, we knew it was coming, and we felt like we had to at least vaguely learn the image like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be competitive and everybody else has that piece of information, unfortunately, we all like to see a brand new puzzle. We all like to see how people do on a puzzle that's not been released, not exposed to everybody. Because part of the joy, hey, look, some people with Peace Talk shirts. Part of the joy is seeing how the elite competitors can tackle a new piece of information, right? A new puzzle, and so we're all a little sad about that. But once it's out there, it's important that we all have the need to have that information in order to be able to compete. We have some table problems going on.
Okay.
That was
so we are bringing the disasters today.
We're having a little bit of disasters on the back of success, though. How did you guys feel about that time and your placement?
Good.
We're happy.
Yeah, we're happy.
Yeah.
We think there were a lot of very fast puzzlers. We knew we had a chance at Podium, but I think there were 8 couples who had a good chance at winning. Going in, so we are really happy.
That was actually really clear during most of the competition, where it was really difficult to see who was making any progress ahead of anybody else. So you're absolutely right that I think it could have been anybody's game for quite a long time.
Yeah.
There's somebody with a clear board. What do you think about that?
No, that's a no.
Same for me.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I'm not a big fan of putting pieces on top of the board or on top of the puzzle to begin with, and that feels like just
at that
more.
point is just as putting the pieces on the puzzle, and so why do you even have the board?
I mean, it gives you some mobility, I suppose. I mean, here I am asking you, might it give you some mobility? How do you guys use boards when you're in pairs?
We try to use them quite a lot to store things, and yes, have the mobility and move pieces around.
Reducing the transport time a bit.
Yeah.
Transport, is that what you said?
Yeah, transport time a bit. We didn't use them optimally. They're that puzzle in the puzzle was painful. So I kind of sorted that out, but then it also occupied a board for most of the time. I probably should have thrown those pieces out, but it feels a waste to throw the pieces back on the board after you've sorted them, right? So is I don't know. It's fine.
Well, even though it feels like a waste, you guys still put up an amazing time on it. There's some puzzles that are decidedly easy for the entire field, and there's some that are really, really hard. When you look at this image, is it one of those ones that looks a little bit easier, and then once you're in it, is harder than you think, or was this one pretty easy overall?
I don't think it's pretty easy, but I also don't think like it looks pretty easy. The top looks pretty easy.
Yeah.
Even though that sign like hides more than you would expect in the other pieces, but the bottom looks very busy and repetitive, and so like this does not look like an easy puzzle. And I think it was correct. It was not an easy puzzle.
Just sort of randomly, on this image, there are a lot of puzzlers that are puzzling.
Yeah.
Which puzzlers do you think you would be in that image?
I don't know.
I was complaining that there's a lot of diversity here, but no old fat white guy with a beard. So next year, I'm hoping to see myself in this puzzle.
Fair.
Well, I wasn't sure if you would be the pair that were just hugging and super excited, that kind of thing.
We could be, yeah.
Yeah. There's plenty of places inside of there. You two are absolutely fantastic. How long have you been puzzling together?
2 years, I think. Yeah.
One of the things
Yeah, we met at Worlds 2023.
One of the things I really love about you guys is that you appeared to create such a deep friendship. I know that when I talked to you on the Peace Talks episode, like you went to the first Worlds in part to go look for people that like, you know, your people, friends and stuff like that. And it feels very gratifying that you guys have such a visibly very strong friendship that has come out of all of this puzzling. Like you're not just pairs, but you seem to be really great friends as well.
Yeah. I think we said that yesterday or maybe 2 days ago that our bond as humans is really what makes us a good pair, like for puzzling, and not the puzzling skills necessarily.
So do you have a lot of table talk while you're puzzling then, or do you guys puzzle together and are friends well enough that you sort of know what everybody's going to be doing?
The second part mostly. Like we talk a lot outside of puzzling, but not while we puzzle.
Cool.
Also when we train, I think.
Yeah.
We tend to not talk a lot during the puzzles.
That's really great. Well, I don't want to keep you because I know it's really, really hot in here, and you have people that you want to go celebrate with and be excited. Is there any shout outs, love, wisdom that you want to give out to the puzzle world before you head off?
Love to everyone, and find people to puzzle with that you get along in real life. It's more important than the puzzling skills.
Yeah.
That's wise words, Chiara. Absolutely appreciate it. Congratulations to both of you on a fantastic job puzzling. Well done.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Go get out of here so you don't fall down.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.
And as they head off, the finishes have been rolling in. The judges and the camera team have been running around like crazy. They're trying to get as many finishes as they can as we cross the hour and 19-minute mark.
You know, Megan from Canada.
Just a few years ago, the idea of having just a couple of teams down in that range was really, really wild. The average was closer to about an hour and a half for a top time, but they are closing in fantastic time. This entire field has shifted the speed line down, and I can only imagine what it's going to be like in the years to come for the entire speed jigsaw puzzling community.
Tess and Adam from Canada. I've had the lovely opportunity to hang out with Tess quite a lot. She's an avid puzzling watching fan. She said she became a puzzling fan by being in the audience here, and then she didn't realize how much fun it was going to be to actually watch puzzlers. I know that not all the puzzlers get that chance or take that chance, but puzzling, I can say, at least for myself, watching jigsaw puzzling competitions is immensely engrossing. Like watching, we've got some guests here, and I'm going to start talking about them before I get the chance to let them introduce themselves. But watching you guys puzzle was just a thrill. Like watching you guys puzzle out throughout this whole time has been deeply enjoying, and it's great to watch you guys sort of master the puzzles and be right up there with everybody else, finishing third. Now that I've given you all of that kind of gushing introduction, please tell us who you are.
I'm Ellen Sino. And Inge Sino.
The famous Sino sisters. How did you like that puzzle?
When I first saw it, I really enjoyed it. It's colorful, it's bright, it has a lot of small sections to work on, which is my absolute favorite. So really good.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so cute. After we finished, I was like, oh, we can never sell this puzzle.
So, Ellen, you said that when you first saw it, you thought it was cute, but so I imagine that you guys saw it in advance, like most of the rest of the teams did. And so, when you actually saw it for real, did your opinion hold, or did you still enjoy it when you actually got to puzzling it, or did that change once you actually got into it?
I think for me it helped. Like, we knew it was going to be a fun puzzle, and then we got the puzzles like, yay, this is fun. It was just, it's nice knowing that it will be a puzzle that you will enjoy instead of, we are not really big on the nature puzzles, so we were just glad that it was something that we like.
It helped with the nerves too. Like, you're not as nervous when you know that you're at least going to have fun while doing it.
And so how did you approach this puzzle?
So we had to change our whole strategy.
So do you have a strategy coming in?
Yeah, but then the image was leaked. And usually I'm like the right way up and Ellen is upside down. And for this one we were like, oh, Ellen is really good at like these tiny humans.
Tiny humans?
Yes, but it's from the Jan van Haasel practice, right? So if there's like, their shirts are like 8 or to 15 pieces large, then it's amazing for Ellen. And I think the sky is not really Ellen's thing. So we had to decide to switch places right from the beginning. So it was super weird for me to be upside down and I had to do part of the border, which I never do. So it was so different.
It worked out okay. Maybe this is a strategy you need to adopt.
There was never a doubt. I mean, I looked at the picture and said, oh my god, that top, it's horrible. And then we knew that meant everything. We had to change it.
And so did you end up finishing in the top? Like, did you get most of this handled and then end up
No, we finished with the puzzles.
Oh, you finished down with the puzzles down
Yes.
in like this area. Yeah, we saw two different approaches. People either finished with the puzzles down at the bottom or the dome up at the top. What made you end up there? Just sort of happenstance?
Because our faster puzzler was doing the dome, so she was just finished before I was.
You know, sometimes the simplest thing is the right one, you know?
I think the puzzles were a bit confusing, even though we knew like they are sort of clear because they're in different directions, but still there's so many. And it was just like especially the one in the bottom left corner, it's quite big actually, so it was pretty hard to figure it out.
My brain is sort of tuned to 500-piece puzzles, in which case this becomes fairly straightforward, but it's a whole different thing when it becomes a 1,000-piece puzzle, and these things that normally would just take a few pieces, like these in here, which might take a piece or 3 or 4, become like 10, 20, 30 pieces.
We actually drew with a pencil, we drew the puzzle on top of another one, the back of another one, and then that was exactly what I said. Oh, that puzzle is like huge, it's not small.
You drew it on the back of another puzzle?
Yeah, so after our team's qualifier yesterday, we packed it neatly into the box. We went back to our apartment, we got it out, flipped it over, and drew the image on the back, just to get a feeling about the size.
The size, yeah, that is amazing. Unfortunately, too bad you couldn't do it on the front side, so you'd actually have the actual piece placement.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter. It was more about just getting a feel of the size, like, how big is the banner? How far is it from the top? How big are these puzzles? Are these people on the puzzles? So
That's so cool that you guys went into that level of detail. I usually use the trick of like picking up a piece and going, if I hold it up, it's going to be about 10 pieces holding it up that way, or about 6 pieces on a 500. But drawing it right on top of there is so much more precise.
So our feeling was, we're not going to let anyone have a bigger advantage from knowing the image than us.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And then I texted my boyfriend that we were doing that. And he was like, oh, you can also upload the image in a puzzle app on your phone. And then you can do the puzzle. So we did that this morning.
Oh, you even had already worked it out?
Yeah,
oh,
so
wow.
I sort of, but I couldn't.
Different cut.
I had, different cut, but
Doesn't
it also
matter.
was like on your phone it's really hard, and I couldn't do the whole puzzle, so we had the square puzzle of 2/3 and then another one of the other 2/3. But for some pieces, like the tiny details, it was like, oh, I know which corner of which puzzle this is, just because we had done it, and I was doing it on my phone, but I was doing it upside down on my phone as well, so I don't think it helped a lot, but it did help a little bit. Like some of the details were just like, oh, now I know where they go.
Yeah, and as you said, I think that if other people have the information, you need to have the information too. This is not a puzzle sort of party as much as we like puzzle parties. It's a competition, right? And if you want to compete, as you guys do, having all the pieces of information, as long as they're out there to the rest of the world, it's a thing you got to do. And it's unfortunate because we like to have surprise puzzles. Like that's the sort of joy of doing this.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you would have gotten the wow throughout the room if it hadn't been seen before, because everyone would have been amazed.
Do you think Ravensburger made the right move by releasing it to everyone at that point? Okay, good.
100%. I think that's only fair.
Even though you would have had an even larger advantage, you thought it was better for the entire field to have access to it.
Yeah, at least then you can choose, like, if you're going to go all the way or not. But I'd rather just have it not out there, because you don't want it to be dependent on anything, like being able to spend time on it or...
So they kind of handled it the best way that a bad thing can happen, maybe.
Yeah. I think.
And that's okay. Things happen. You know what else happened? You all put up a fantastic time. When you're doing these 1,000-piece puzzles, is this about the time that you usually get on 1,000-piece puzzles together, or is this faster, lower? Like, where does this sit in your personal puzzling?
Not the absolute fastest, I think, but it's one of our faster times. But I think it's hard to say, because like the last month we have really improved, so we don't have that many times from that last month. So I'm not sure.
I feel like you've both made substantial improvements. You are already world-class puzzlers, but Ellen, I feel like you've really stood out in this particular competition. Inga, you are already a star. I feel like you were already up there. Ellen was sort of right there with you, but I feel like you've really kind of stepped up in the last bit in this competition. It's really been great to see you sort of shining alongside of your sister. It feels like maybe now there can be some fiercer competition between the two of you. When I was watching you guys finish, you had such a serious look on your face, Ellen, when you were trying to get those last few pieces, and it was like you put your whole soul into trying to get those last few pieces. Is that what it felt like, or is that just sort of the way it looked on your face?
Oh no, that's definitely what it felt like.
Now, when you guys are doing pairs, is it easier to manage your sort of internal head conversations because you have other people to bounce it off of than it is when you're doing it individually? Do you find a lot of benefit of being in the competitions, being in a pairs competition with each other?
For me, it definitely helps, but that's because my internal monologue is usually not a happy one. So if I say it out loud, Inge will always just pass me a project that I can do, or she'll just hear me say, it's hard, and then she'll say, okay, then do this or do that, and that works wonders.
And I think when like the cheers happened, right, the first finisher, I'm like, don't worry, Ellen, we're doing great, keep going. So I was basically just doing the pep talk for the last part.
That's awesome. All right, we're gonna let you guys go, get out of the heat and into the nice fresh air. Thank you so much for coming by. Amazing job, well done.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Congratulations. And this is so exciting. We're getting ready to cross the hour and 29-minute line, and I am looking out, and we do not have that many tables remaining. We are going to smash the 2-hour time limit. I am confident we're going to be able to clear the room here, Rob.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, we saw it was a little longer to get started in terms of people finishing, but it feels like sort of a tightly packed finish where we just saw team after team after team after team knock it down. And it's just been as you can probably hear in the background, just a constant stream of cheering for various teams as they've come by.
Yeah, this is really, really fascinating. We can see that they are just flying through. Once you're at this tail end, a lot of the competitors just wanted to finish the puzzle in the time limit, and I think they're going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, as one of those teams, I really do enjoy a puzzle that allows us to get to the very end, to get finished before we hit the end. And we can see that this team here, whose name I can't see, is getting down to the last few parts. We can see in the background we've got a team with, looks like a few puzzlers, quite a few pieces left. Looks like a junior team member out there. There we got this team finished. Congratulations to them. 1 hour and 30 minutes. That seems like a spectacular time.
It really is a spectacular time. You know, a lot of times getting a 1,000-piece 1,000-piece puzzle done in under 2 hours is amazing, and an hour 30 is even more impressive, and an hour 30 on one that you haven't done before, even more so. And that right there, a team from Sweden, I believe that's Smilja and Freya from Sweden. Congratulations. I apologize for butchering the name.
Well, just to keep that in going, this is Team 42, also from Sweden with Maya and Ida. Ooh, potentially easier names to say. I probably found a way to butcher that, but it looks like they're just driving through to the top of the dome here. Looks like they've got plenty of time to get this one knocked out before time. There's that upper right-hand corner. Can't see the team, but with the junior member.
That's I believe that's Danny and Giussi, who we've had on here a little earlier. Danny is absolutely phenomenal puzzler, and they are doing great on this one. You can see that they have some of that dome left, but a lot of the pieces that are remaining are those pieces within pieces, that meta puzzle that will trip a lot of people up. I think Ellen and Inga had a really good idea there, where they could see how much those puzzle pieces kind of stick around.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward to talk about puzzle pieces on a puzzle piece, but so it goes.
Oh, wow. And over in the upper left-hand corner, we can see table 97. That's Mashka and Anna doing a really great job of puzzling. Rob, we've seen so many people do fantastic here. What is it like for you being in the front row here as we are about to clear the room for the first time in the 2025 World Jigsaw Puzzle Championship?
It is so exciting. It is so much fun. The vibe here is really great. I love a puzzle where everybody can finish because that just drives the excitement through into people doing more competitions. It is great. And then, all the people here are great. I love the opportunity to interview them and just sit and chat. Unfortunately, I can sit and chat with them for a while. I was telling somebody the other day that you just put a team of puzzlers in front of me and I can occupy 45 minutes just asking them questions. So I love the opportunity to chat with them. It's part of the reason that my podcast, Peace Talks, runs long, unashamedly long. I shoot for somewhere around an hour and a half to 2 hours because I really just want to hear all about what the puzzlers how they think about things, how they came together, and so the opportunity to chat with any puzzlers is a great opportunity as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, you're not plugging Peace Talks. It is a valuable resource for the speed puzzling community to learn from people who are at the best in the game, to learn from people who are behind the scenes. Like, I know you've talked to Michelle Casper, who runs the Euro Jigsaw Jam. Somebody in the comment was asking, is there an online place that I can do on puzzle competitions? You can sign up at the Euro Jigsaw Jams. Jonathan Clough runs speedpuzzle.com that does the online competitions in the U.S. You can find those things if you look for them, but Peace Talks is a great way to start to find a lot of the movers and shakers in the community.
Yeah, I really do try and go find not just teams and individuals that you might want to hear from, because there are plenty of those out there, but I'd like to talk to puzzle makers. We're going to have a couple of puzzle maker companies joining in the next few months. Some people who are running competitions, people who are making the technology and the tools to make the world of puzzling even better and faster. So we try and cover the whole entire world of competitive jigsaw puzzling. It's a blast. Speaking of resources, though, one resource that I do want to plug is that we have a site out there that uses a bunch of data that I have collected over, I think over 350, 400 different competitions that we've brought in online that I use to make my predictions on how things are going to go in Worlds. Jacob Palawa in the US has taken that and put a layer over the top of it at a place called puzzleboard.streamlit.app. And it is an amazing way of experiencing the data. You can go look at a specific competition and see how the competition went. You can look at a specific puzzler and see how they've done over time. You can compare puzzlers to each other, which is a great way, I think, that going into individuals, if you want to go check that out and pull up their back history, it's a great way of seeing what puzzles they've done, how well they've done, how their arc has been over the course of their history. So I definitely want to make sure that I plug that. It's using my data, but I had nothing to do with it, except that every time I asked him to change something, he did. And he's pulling in my speedpuzzle.com information, which is also another great resource, obviously. So one of the things I'm really enjoying is the emergence of the next generation of puzzle resources and technologies. I've been talking with several folks around competition technologies that are coming into play, and man, this next year is going to be really exciting.
Oh yeah, I know the Australians and the UK, they're starting to work on cameras that can have info pop up on the screen from the
so
tablet.
cool.
It's so cool. And we have the lower left-hand corner. They're coming down to the last 4 pieces. Can they keep this under an hour and 36 minutes? We're going to find out here just shortly. They get it in. The judges give them a high five. Congratulations. I'm sorry we don't have the table number, but we're super excited for you. And over on the lower right-hand side, they're getting ready to finish up. They have about 7 pieces. Somebody in the chat was asking, what are the puzzle pieces on my vest? I asked people here at the competition to sign puzzle pieces, and so I am wearing pieces that have been signed by several of the competitors, and I'm really excited to be able to kind of show off a way that everybody came together, and I get to wear that as my regalia, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I love that concept, and I love that your progressive puzzling fashion over the course of the week has been a joy to watch. Speaking of joy to watch, look at these guys working their hands so fast, getting them shoved into all of the different spaces.
I think there's only 2, maybe 3 tables. Four tables remaining. We are coming in. We are going to clear the room for the first time here at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships 2025.
Yeah, and there's still a good number of people in here. The dome is a challenging place to spectate from at this time of year, just because of the heat. But if this is anything like it traditionally is, we will see a cheer for the last people coming across the line that is nearly as big as the cheer for the first people coming across the line.
And there we go. The upper right-hand corner, we have Gisela and Danny from Panama at table 78.
Oh, love that.
And they are absolutely fantastic. They work together so well, and you can just see, like, coming down to this finish line, it's not a matter of, of being the fastest. Is about doing your best. A lot of these folks, they were excited just to be in the finals. Like, how many people get to say, I'm the top number at Worlds, whatever.
Yeah.
These people get to do that, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, I was talking to a few people who sort of accidentaled their way into the finals, and they were like, oh my god, I am so thrilled just to be there. Like, already this surpasses my expectation. If I just by participating in the finals, it's already a win. So we've talked about all weekend that it's not just the elite puzzlers who we love and who are amazing and inspiring. Oh, there it is.
That's a big cheer. Congratulations.
All right, and it looked like they were driving things home pretty quickly, so I think that there's a couple of other teams still out there. So what you're hearing is cheering for those people specifically. It's a cheer of Panama in the background.
So exciting. They came all the way here. Their goal was to make it into the semifinals, and they exceeded that and got all the way into the finals.
Yeah, and hoping that those are cheers of joy, potentially exhaustion.
Oh, it's pure joy.
Yeah, but I mean, they should be so proud. Not only did they get to the finals, but they crushed the puzzle.
And another great finish. Under the hour and 39-minute mark. Oh, are we going to see a puzzle pickup? Is it happening? It's happening. Whoa, with a full flip. I'm curious what they're planning on doing there. I've not seen a flip that goes just upside down without the pictures. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen there. Table 100, that is Tamia and Maria from Slovakia, going to close this out. A lot of people say that I talk an awful lot. I am at a loss for words for how exciting it is to be here, watching everybody come into a finish and still see so many people around that are waiting just to cheer these people in. To see a finish of a 1,000-piece puzzle in under 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, this would be unthinkable a couple of years ago, and now it's becoming just the kind of thing that happens. The level of competition continues to move up. We've got the team from Germany, Tanya and Steinen. Add this to the list of names I've pronounced wrong. I hope you consider that a badge of honor, or at least you're willing to forgive me later. And then we've got, I think the last remaining Slovakia team. We had 4 in the 4-up just a minute ago. So we're down to the last team, and looks like they're just about finished as well.
Oh yeah, and it's so exciting. Even at these tables that are further behind, these are the top puzzlers in the world, and the techniques that they're using to close out here are still super strong. You can see that they've done a little bit of shape sorting here, where they've put the standards or those two prongs that are on opposite sides from each other, kind of in a line, and that organizes you to be able to blitz through towards the end.
Well, I have to say how much shape sorting can help if you get to that point. Like, we had to do some shape sorting yesterday on my team, and it immediately unlocks another capability. Like you were saying before, any information you can add into the puzzle, like or take away, depending on what it is you're trying to do. But any more hooks that you can give yourself to complete things definitely just helps you speed up. And so being able to, like, shape sorting, if you need to shape sort, is absolutely a great way of picking up the speed right there at the end.
Yeah, and it's not even if you need to, it's a different way of moving forward. We sometimes call it changing the lens or changing your view. And anything you
100%.
do that propels you forward is the right thing to do in speed puzzling. You can see that the Slovakian team is coming down to the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Can they keep this under an hour 41? They have 8 seconds remaining. They may not be able to hit it, but they are so close to that line. I think the team from Germany might be able to do it. This is going to be real tight. Who's going to come in? There it is. Congratulations to the Slovakian team.
And it looks like the German team has come across as well. It looks like maybe having a missing piece.
There it is.
And they're done, and there's the cheer for the end. As far as I know, we're all
And
finished.
we have cleared the room.
Cleared the room, but not the people out viewing the room. There's still plenty of people here taking a look around. Congratulations to everybody. Great achievement all the way through from the first to the very end. We saw some great puzzling, and just happy to be here during all of this. As I said, I was super excited about it. I was not let down. This was a lot of fun.
Terminado este puzzle. Enhorabuena. Un aplauso para
Little announcement from Charlie here.
And we got our view from outside.
Su puzzle de 1000 piezas. A round of applause
View
for
from inside.
all of our pairs finalists who've all managed to finish off their puzzle. No piece counting. We will be back shortly.
Hello, outside people.
6:45 is the kickoff time announced for the biggest of them all, to find out who is going to be the 2025 fastest puzzler in the world. Vamos a ver en una hora y pico quién va a ser. Vamos a arrancar el torneo individual en el Mundial de Puzzles. ¿Quién va a ser el puzzlero más rápido del mundo?
Charlie letting us know that the solo finals are coming up at 6:45 here in a little bit.
And I'm really jealous, Jim, you're doing the solo finals as well?
I am jealous of myself as well, quite honestly. I'm super excited.
Jim has been encased in the dome for a little while, so I'm sure that a little break would be great for him. But honestly, I am jealous. You get to be right up front and working, seeing this from some world-class puzzling from the very front. That's going to be some amazing. I'm really excited to see how that goes. I imagine that whoever's commentating with you on that one, who's doing that one?
Charlie and Daniela are going to be here.
Oh,
with me.
so that is going to be a great one to watch regardless. So everybody should definitely tune in. Speaking of tuning in, if you are interested in the depths of speed puzzling, especially as we've been talking about, people who are both competing and bringing in, making competitions happen, check out Peace Talks, available everywhere that you find podcasts, including YouTube.
And I will say this again, Rob is a fantastic interviewer and human being on top of that. And you can hear it in every one of those episodes. Just, I appreciate all that you do for the community. It's brought so many people in and sort of helped elevate the idea of what we do here, not just from this is a fun hobby, but people take this seriously and get excited about it.
Well, we promised ourselves that we we limit each other to one compliment at the beginning and one compliment at the end. And I will have to say that, Jim, it has been always an inspiration every time that I get to do some work with you. You legitimately make speed puzzling feel like a sport. You are kind-hearted. I tried to dig up all the dirt I could from anybody who would tell me anything about you, and everybody uniformly said that you were an amazing person. Even your partner, Mari, was like, no, he's actually pretty great. I
paid them all off, so that counts for a lot.
You didn't know who I talked to. So I am honored to have been here. I'm thrilled to be in your presence. You did an amazing job. I can't wait to see how the individuals goes.
Well, thank you so much. And, this shot of the room, just less than 2 hours ago was filled to the brim with the top puzzlers in the world, and now everybody has gone outside to cool off for a minute, get their heads straight, get ready to go on to the solo finals that are coming up here shortly. There's a little bit of a reset going on with a lot of the judges and the camera folk right now, and I don't envy their job at all, because the running around they have to do is so difficult with the equipment. If you're in the chat right now, huge cheers for all of the volunteers and for all the camera crew. A big shout out to Charlie, who's doing a fantastic job keeping everything running right now.
Yeah, I was so fascinated by what Charlie does, and I think that Charlie is sort of iconic in terms of this competition, that I asked him if he would be on the Peace Talks show maybe later on in the year, and he said he was absolutely interested in doing that. So hopefully we'll, if we can get logistics worked out, you can hear all about his role here, but also just how you put on a competition like this, how you sustain a competition like this in the light of deep adversity, and maybe he'll tell us a story about how he held a chair over the top of a puzzle to keep it from getting rained on.
I really hope that picture gets out in a major way, because there's not a lot of organizers that would throw themselves into the fray in order to help puzzlers do their thing and really help make sure that the competition runs as smoothly as it can. And cannot say enough wonderful things about Charlie. He's absolutely fantastic human.
We're getting a look at the one of the merch tables there, and it's actually pretty cool because you can get any kind of shirt, t-shirt, sweatshirt that you want, and have different things ironed onto the back of them or the front of them, so you can sort of customize the shirt to yourself. And it has pretty much all the players' names that you can put, so you can find your name and put your name on the back like a concert tour sheet.
Oh my gosh, I want it.
It's really great.
I'm gonna have to get that just to cheer him on. You can see the Spanish live stream here has our heroes from Panama that finished in that pairs division. So excited. Danny is a hilarious human being, and she is going to be terrifying when she is old enough to compete as an individual.
Do we know how long that is? Is she like 5 or 6 years maybe?
I try not to think about things that are scary, and she is going to take the world by storm one way or another when she's at that point.
There's a whole class of developing young folks who are world class, and so I think that we were talking, you and I beforehand, that the what it will look like at a jigsaw puzzle competition in the next 5-6 years may change fairly dramatically, as the youth who've been puzzling with speed puzzling in mind from very early on mature enough to be competitive, to be allowed to compete on the world competition.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Rob. A lot of people that are in speed puzzling now have just done traditional puzzling for a long time.
That's
where
right.
they sit down, they take a few hours to go through like a 300-piece puzzle. They're not really thinking what is the fastest way they can do it. They're doing it for meditation. They're doing it to relax. They're not doing it as a form of active aggression almost, in order to get it done. So that shift is going to be really exciting over the next few years.
Yeah, exciting or terrifying if you're especially if you're a 20-something puzzler now, and these people, like the people who are challenging you, are not old enough to compete yet. They're nipping at your heels, but these are going to be people who've grown up with the techniques that are only being discovered and developed now. We've seen, like I said earlier, such a huge leap in performance because people are sharing, people are discovering, there's active exploration. There's a lot of, frankly, real scientific approaches to how to understand competitive puzzling, and that information is getting shared around and is the water in which the youth swim, right? And these are kids who have the time to really put in repetition, who really have the time to maybe commit to memorizing multiple puzzle cuts. So they're gonna be springing out into the scene deeply advantaged over the folks who, as you said, were doing puzzling as a fun pastime.
Oh yeah, and not just memorizing the cuts, but memorizing patterns on the images, right? If you've done a couple of landscapes, they have a similar pattern to them.
Sure.
Get the horizon line, do the outline, break in from there, or get the horizon line, go down underneath, break in from there. And so if you have folks that are very intentionally learning those images, committing to memory a process for what you see, you're going to have a better catalog to reach into in the back of your brain that just gives you that little bit of a better snap coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, and also you don't have all the other things in your brain that might get in the way of trying to remember some things, where some of us who have been around for a while have stuffed our brains full of other, reruns of TV and things like that that just cause useful information like a pattern match of an ocean shore to just fall right back out when it goes in there.
I will make a quick plug that the unpublished Ravensburger puzzles that are used in the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships 2025, those will be available to purchase on September 22nd in the US, the UK, Germany, France, and I think Canada. Please double check the sanity on that at some point. But they're going to be widely available on September 22nd. There's not going to be a lottery system this year. I really appreciate Ravensburger listening to the puzzle community and making adjustments. Speed puzzling is growing so rapidly, it's often hard to keep up with where we're at.
There's Charlie in the background sitting down. If we were talking about him earlier, if you hadn't figured out who he was. Last year was a challenge in a lot of ways to get a hold of these puzzles that were unreleased. So I'm super happy that we're seeing some good access to them, more widely distributed. I think Ravensburger is showing the ability to learn from challenges that they've encountered. So happy to see that.
Yeah, somebody's mentioning about how yesterday during one of the competitions there was a puzzle that had 50 missing pieces and a whole bunch of duplicates. It is rare for Ravensburger to have manufacturing errors, considering that there are almost 1,300 people here and there's only a handful of missed pieces or strange things happening. That is extremely impressive for their output.
It is. I agree entirely, but I have to say that particular round must have had some sort of manufacturing chaos going on, because there are at least 4 teams, and I hear there may be 5, who had at least 40 missing pieces or more. And we know that some of them had that number of pieces missing and also that number of extra pieces, which really threw the judges for a loop, right? Because you're not expecting a manufacturing challenge of that magnitude. So a lot of things had to be figured out on the fly here at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships 2025.
Yeah, and it's, those things happen. Again, huge shout out to the volunteers who have been helping to wrangle the cats as best they can. There have been so many surprises this year. We talked a little bit about how yesterday there was that thunderstorm that came through and the roof started leaking and people were having to move tables and make adjustments. And again, the puzzling community came together to keep everything moving as best as they could. And it's really phenomenal, the fact that we have such a group of people that are wholehearted and didn't use it as an opportunity to take advantage of their opponents in a way. Like, nobody saw that and went, haha, they are going to do poorly. It was more of a, oh no, how can we help them in order to make sure they're successful?
I'm just having a little amusement moment to myself, because not surprisingly, the puzzle competition has ended. There's a little bit of time to fill. Surprisingly, you and I can just keep chatting for a while and not have any problem filling some space. There we've got a good look at the people outside. I think that I'm hoping that it is nice and chill out there relative to the temperature here in the dome.
Yeah, I will remind everybody, hydrate before you need to hydrate. It sounds like a little thing, but if you're drinking water when you're thirsty, it's already a little too late, and so you're going to need to keep things rolling as much as you can. It is very hot in the dome, so get lots of water. And if you're at home watching or in the comments, please also hydrate, because you're probably more thirsty than you think you are. It's real easy to forget to drink stuff.
Fair enough. We've got bottles all over the table here, so I will pre-hydrate as much as I can now.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of running around. Somebody was saying earlier that if somebody wanted to set up a shop outside that was just puzzle fans, they would make a killing. And I've seen a lot of people share fans or give fans away because the puzzling community just wants to look out for everybody else.
Yeah, one of the things that I would love to see or hear at some in the future would be fan stands, but also potentially food. Food would be really great have around here. I know that in the U.S. competitions they try to be located near food, and they are here as well. But gosh, I would love to walk out and just find a food cart because a lot of the turnarounds are fairly tight, which is a problem for the staff, but also a problem for the folks who are maybe competing back-to-back rounds.
Yeah, I think Allie Wade in the comments was mentioning that she would really like one of those rainbow bags that the puzzles are inside before the competition. I kind of wonder if they're going to go on sale at some point, because those are really are gorgeous.
They are. My recollection, and I haven't had a lot of chance to see, is that they are sort of transparent. So you have to put the puzzles in the bags and then put the puzzles upside down.
Oh yeah. No, we're still going to town right now here at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships 2025.
There appears to be some question as to whether people outside can hear us. So if you can hear us outside, shout loud enough that we can hear you inside the dome.
Which is always fun. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and the comments are still letting us know that they can hear us too, which is really fun. Rob, this is going to sound really silly, slightly awkward.
Oh, this is what I expect from you, Jim.
What puzzle piece do you think you are? Do you think you're a 4-prong puzzle piece? Are you a 3-prong? Are you one of the it's 2 prongs with the sides adjacent?
There was a team at the St. Paul Winter Carnival a couple years ago that had a name that I loved, which was the left-footed hooker. So it's the piece with the sort of foot out the one side. Yeah. So I think that something with a little flair, that just has the foot kicked out to one side. I think that describes me. What about you, Jim? Have you put a lot of thought into this?
I hadn't. I wasn't hoping that the telescope would turn around.
You were just
going to
ambush me.
Well, it's more entertaining for me that way. Which puzzle piece would it be? I think I really like the 3-prong. Where it's 1, 2, 3 out that way, and then a hole in the bottom, because it's warm. It looks like it wants to give you a hug unintentionally, which is really fun. We know we have a little bit of time floating around here. Again, people were asking about the puzzle vest. Earlier on, I asked people to sign puzzle pieces and then put them in a separate box, and so I used that to make sort of a suit of armor of all of the puzzlers that have been here today, and I'm going to keep adding more between today and tomorrow.
I saw the box standing out, and I was like, all right, I'll sign it. So did you put me somewhere? Did you discover me in there yet?
I'm sure you're on here somewhere, which is really exciting.
Place of pride? This is another thing that I love, is that there are people outside puzzling. There's tables for it. The other day, I was walking by kind of late at night, and it was great to see 3 or 4 full tables of people puzzling in the dark with other people holding flashlights for them.
Oh, that is dedication.
I'm waving back.
And you can see them working on that Excalibur puzzle. That's one that showed up in one of the competition rounds and threw some people for a loop. Those puzzles are really gorgeous, and that just kind of speaks to earlier when we were talking in the pairs rounds about what kind of decision makings you have to do. Is it a puzzle that looks nice, that you enjoy visually, or is it a puzzle that is solid to do for where you're at in your puzzling right now?
Jim, I don't think I know this. How much puzzling do you do in your life?
I personally do almost zero puzzling. I don't get joy out of the actual physical puzzling part. My joy comes from the analysis and the optimization and watching how things could come together and doing a lot of theory crafting. I get more joy out of that than me actually doing the puzzling, which I know is a little strange in a lot of ways.
It's strange, but it's one of the many ways that people can get into jigsaw puzzling. There's the actual putting the puzzles together, there's the camaraderie, there's the sort of building a team and the intentional effort that takes to strategize a team and find people to put in the various skills to optimize a team, and a team that harmonizes well. But also, I'm a big fan of the data. The data is a great way of getting into puzzling, and the strategy and the tactics are another great way of doing that. So I know that you have previously coached the Wicked Quick team, and I feel like I have heard that you were coached other folks. So are you doing coaching as well for the rest of the world? Does everybody get an option of having Jim as their coach?
They certainly can. Mari Black and I, Mari Black, my partner, we both coach together as a team and do some stuff individually, but usually as a team. And we'll look at your puzzling on a video and see where are things that could probably be tweaked. Just little things about what's physicality. Maybe there's small tactics that we can make changes on that can upgrade and shave off as much time as we can as quickly as we can.
And is that something that you offer to all kinds of puzzling folks, or is that
Yeah, we offer it to everybody. Just reach out to us on Instagram. I'm nerd_puzzle on Instagram, and Mari is at Mari Loves Puzzles on Instagram. MARI Loves Puzzles. Yeah,
That's awesome. I love that you have you're bringing your sort of nerddom around strategy to a broader audience. Are there things that, while we've got another minute or so, that are sort of low-hanging fruits that you see over and over again, especially if they're not things that people normally consider?
Yeah, the one that I noticed the most is the flip time is usually where you can gain about a minute right away because people kind of dive into the middle of the pile to flip a piece rather than working their way from the outside, and it just saves time from the pieces kind of crumbling on top of themselves. We have about 7 seconds remaining. Rob, one of the things that we do is we do a little jigsaw jig on the way out, so we're going to do our little jigsaw jig, and we also have our friend Rafa coming in to do it with it. He's going to do the jig with us on the cut. We're having a little dance, and there it is. Oh, we're rotating away. Oh, they took the camera off of him for some intentionally. Oh no, are they gonna bring him back? Okay, there it is, and there we can do our dance. Rafa's one of our camera crew. He's on our camera crew. He does a fantastic job. They have been working this entire week from start to end. Michelle and I have been trading places on the commentary table.